3 years ago, I was a 16-year-old skinny kid with zero muscles and I'll spend the entire day playing Minecraft. And today, I can do a 15-second front lever and even do multiple pull-ups with it. But the journey here wasn't easy. There were times where I would build a lot of muscle and make lots of progress, and even times where I would lose it all, having to rebuild everything all over again. This is my 3.5-year-long calisthenics journey and the lessons I learned along the way so that you don't have to waste all those years making the same mistakes I did. Imagine this, it's January 2022 and you're a 16-year-old skinny kid who's returning to high school after 2 whole long years of the pandemic. The bright hallways look unfamiliar, yet familiar, and everyone seems to be taller. You then step foot into class and you spot a cute girl with long black hair sitting all by herself, and you kinda start to catch feelings. And then I catch a reflection of myself.
I'm way too skinny, I have acne all over my face, and I've completely forgotten how to talk to people after staying home all day for 2 years, doing nothing but playing Minecraft.
Oh my god. Like, come on, I've got to do something about myself if I want any chance with her. It was at that moment where I told myself, later after school, So, on my first day of training,
I did 100 push-ups.
Of course not all at once, but it was split up into multiple sets. In the beginning, it was actually really difficult because I felt super weak. I literally never worked out in my entire life. Plus, not to mention the crazy soreness that you feel after the workouts. But despite all that, I kept doing 100 push-ups every single day.
Quitting was not an option.
I even expanded my workout by adding
3 sets of 3-minute planks, 100 squats, and some pull-ups
to my workout. After training hard, workout after workout, on May 15, 2022, exactly 50 days after I began, I looked in the mirror and there I saw it. Abs! Actual visible abs! But wait, the story isn't over yet because from that point on, the trainings only got harder. I moved on to more difficult exercises
such as the chin-up, archer pull-ups, and the pistol squat.
By the end of the year, I had gained a considerable amount of strength by being able to do 16 chin-ups and also a lot of muscles, going from 47 to 56 kilos. Not bad at all, but things were about to get interesting. Now, 2023 was a really great year for me because I got really good at the one-arm push-up and the pistol squat. And that increase in strength also led me to achieve my best physique at that time. I remember being super lean and I was looking crazy. Around May, I got a standing pull-up bar. I remember the whole thing coming in this huge box and everything took like an entire day to set up. Immediately, I began experimenting with pull-up variations like the assisted one-arm pull-up and the archer pull-ups. But ultimately, I decided to focus on the wide pull-up and the weighted pull-up. And you know what? I actually got pretty good at them. After some consistent training, I could do 17 reps of wide pull-ups, and even the
Pull-ups with 10 kgs in my backpack felt like nothing.
And it was with the help of the weighted pull-up that I was able to unlock my first ever
Muscle up!
For the remainder of the year, I continued to increase my strength in the weighted pull-up and dip, thus building more muscle mass. I also decided to work on achieving a front lever by just doing simple holds on the pull-up bar. And with a few months of training, by the end of 2023, I was even able to hold a straddle front lever. With all this crazy progress, I felt amazing.
Unstoppable.
Like I could achieve anything I ever wanted. However, little did I know everything
was about to change.
The start of 2024 was unfortunately met by my final high school exams, the SPM. The pressure was building. I was crazy obsessed with getting straight A's, so studies consumed the entirety of my day. Morning till night, studying for exams became my entire life. Having devoted all my resources towards studying, I had none left for calisthenics, and so I decided to take a complete break from training until my exams were over.
2 months later.
On the 29th of February 2024, I returned back to training once again. And when I took off my shirt, this is how I look like. Okay, at first, I didn't think much of it, but when I started comparing my current physique to that of a few months ago, the difference was really obvious. I had lost about 60% of my front lever progress and almost all my muscle mass. I really wanted to get back my straddle front lever, but I was too weak. I knew that first, I had to rebuild my muscles. So day after day, I would train
Pistol squats, calf raises, the weighted pull-up and dip.
trying to regain my former glory. Just 30 days into training, I regained most of my muscle and a bit of fat. I began working on my front lever with the straddle half leg presses, but this time I was determined to achieve the full skill. 5 months later, when I was attempting the full front lever for what seemed like the 100th time,
I leaned back and retracted my scapulars as hard as I could.
and suddenly my feet lifted off the ground. I held it just for 2 seconds. I had just unlocked
The full front lever.
But for months after unlocking the skill, I could never repeat it for some reason. It wasn't until I started doing bad form front lever presses and negatives with retraction that I not only was able to regain my full front lever, but even surpass my previous level. So by the end of the year, I had gained lots of front lever volume, and I also started training for the planche. But this time, I wasn't going to do it alone. To start 2025, I joined the Sunway Calisthenics Club, and it was a decision that would change the entire course of my calisthenics journey. It was the first time I met people who shared the same passion for calisthenics, people who understood the joy of conquering new skills and trained just as hard as I did. I met countless amazing friends there, like Alan, known as Abang Sahur, Hendrik, the strongest guy in the entire club, and he does like these crazy pull and push combos like they're nothing. Sherman, he's just a sweet guy, and countless other cool dudes. I would go to the club every Thursday to train, and perhaps because of the people I was surrounded with, I made tons of progress with my front lever, and I even unlocked the advanced tuck planche. However, as the front lever and the advanced tuck planche became
Too easy.
I decided that I wanted to train for more challenging skills. So I chose the
Clutch front lever and straddle planche as my next goals.
However, the journey to unlocking both of those skills would not be easy. Hoping to unlock both, I experimented with all sorts of training methods ranging from resistant bands to different progressions. But that turned out not to be a good idea after all. In my spontaneous and unstructured workout, I barely made any progress in either skill, which only
God damn it!
confusion and self-doubt, leading me to keep changing my workouts all the time. Basically, I was training hard but not training smart. So after dealing with this plateau for what seemed like forever, I decided I was sick of it and I'm going to take matters in my own hands. If I wanted to get stronger, I had to rethink everything. No more random workouts. I started doing some research on the book's scientific principles of strength training and even reached out to my friend Carl for some planche advice. I realized the mistakes I had made all along. First, neglecting basics. No. And second, an inconsistent workout structure. Lastly, I didn't track my workouts, which meant progressive overload was not possible. So I decided to change. I started back on basic exercises such as the chest to wall handstand push-up and weighted pull-ups for general strength and hypertrophy. Not only that, I committed to following my workout plan religiously. For every exercise, I ensured that I tracked every rep, every set, the rest times, and the intensity to make sure that I do more in the next workout. And now, less than a month later, I'm way stronger. And the reason why I shared this story is because after training for years, I realized that progress isn't random. It's the result of how we train and recover. There's definitely a science behind it. Plus, I don't want you making no progress and being stuck in your training too. I've made the mistakes so that you don't have to. With my knowledge and experience, I'll share what actually works so that you can make real progress in your training. So stay tuned for more videos in the future.